হ্যাঁ স্যার, বুঝতে পারছি।
সবাই সবকিছু সামলাতে হচ্ছে, বড় চাপের মধ্যে আছে। হ্যাঁ,
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
সবাই মানে দুজনেই মোটামুটি, হ্যাঁ কিছুই দুজনেই মোটামুটি শয্যাশায়ী বলতে গেলে। তাও ঈশ্বরের দয়া যে এখনো ম্যানেজ হয়ে এখনো চলে যাচ্ছে সবকিছু। হ্যাঁ, যাক, ধন্যবাদ যে আপনি আপনার টিম এবং আপনি এই অনুষ্ঠানটা করেছেন এর মধ্যে।
হ্যাঁ, আলটিমেটলি যে এরকম একটা সিচুয়েশন হবে অতটা বোঝা যায়নি যখন আমরা শুরু করেছিলাম। তারপরে তো আস্তে আস্তে সিচুয়েশনটা বদলে গেছে অনেকটা, কিন্তু আর ওটা স্টপ করার সুযোগ ছিল না।
না ঠিক আছে, যা চলছে চলবে। অ্যাকচুয়ালি ঠিক আছে, খুব ভালোই করেছে। আপনার টিম তো খুব ভালো কাজ করে, টিমটা খুব অ্যাক্টিভ। আপনার টিমে কে কে আছে? অভিষেক আছে, দেবলীনা আছে, পৃথা আছে, আর কে কে আছে?
মৌসুমী মুখোপাধ্যায়, অনমিত্র সরকার,
ও
রানা।
অনেক, রানা, হ্যাঁ বাহ,
হ্যাঁ,
বিরাট টিম, বিরাট টিম।
স্টুডেন্টরাও খুব হেল্প করছে, পার্টিকুলারলি আপনার ডিপার্টমেন্টের বেশ কয়েকজন, অন্তরিক্ষ আছে, শুভম, এরা খুবই খুবই হেল্প করছে।
ওরা খুব সাহায্যের হাত বাড়িয়ে দেয়।
হ্যাঁ, ওরা খুব হেল্প করছে, সব ব্যাপারেই খুব এগিয়ে আসে।
গার্ডেন তৈরি করতে হবে যেখানে হচ্ছে আপনার নানা ধরনের, বিশেষ করে এনভায়রনমেন্টের যারা ক্লাস করে তাদের পক্ষে অনেক গাছ ফাছ চেনার জন্য একটা গার্ডেন দরকার, যেটা আমি বারবার বলে আসছি, বোটানিক্যাল গার্ডেন মতন, যেখানে বিভিন্ন স্পিসিস থাকবে, মেডিসিনাল প্ল্যান্ট ইত্যাদি ইত্যাদি, অন্তত যাতে চিনতে পারে ভারতীয়
আসলে
ভেষজ
স্যার
সমস্ত।
কাজটা আগাচ্ছিল, কিন্তু এই লাস্ট 1 বছর এর উপরেও তো আর কিছু করা যায়নি। বরং যেগুলো লাগানো হয়েছিল সেগুলোকেই বাঁচিয়ে রাখার জন্য একটা চেষ্টা চলছে, ফলে নতুন কিছু তো এর মধ্যে আর করা যায়নি।
হ্যাঁ সেই মানে বলছি, আমাদের ফিউচার প্ল্যান আছে অনেক, দেখা যাক কেমন ভাবে হয় সেগুলো। সবাই এসে গেছেন?
না, এখনো তো তেমন দেখছি না। আমাদের কলেজের কয়েকজন ম্যাডাম আছেন, তয়না, তারপরে সুতপা আছে।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
আমাদের হাতে একটু সময় আছে, কয়েক মিনিট, আশা করছি এসে যাবেন সবাই।
বাড়িতে ইন্টারনেট নেই, ইন্টারনেট কানেকশন নেই।
হ্যাঁ,
ইন্টারনেটের কানেকশন চলে গেছে। বলছি বাড়িতে ইন্টারনেট কানেকশন নেই, ইন্টারনেট কানেকশন চলে গেছে।
আপনি কি স্যার তাহলে কি মোবাইল দিয়ে কানেক্ট করেছেন?
হ্যাঁ, মোবাইল দিয়ে
আচ্ছা,
ইন্টারনেট কানেকশন চলে গেছে। অনেকক্ষণ থেকে চেষ্টা করছিলাম যে হাউ টু রিভাইভ, কিন্তু করা যাচ্ছে না।
অভিষেক।
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
বলছি প্রীতা ম্যাডামের সঙ্গে তোমার আর কথা হয়েছিল?
না স্যার, এমন তো কথা হয়নি।
এমনি কালকে আমার হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে কথা হয়েছে যে উনি লিঙ্ক পেয়েছেন, জয়েন করে নেবেন নিশ্চয়ই। মৌসুমী।
यस बोलो।
ওকে। ঠিক আছে।
আমাদের পার্টিসিপেন্টসরা সবাই জয়েন করে গেছে।
হ্যাঁ, ওখানে বেশ কয়েকজন আগে দেখছি, রাহুল আছে, সাগনিক,
এই শাকনিক কি হলো পাঠালো লাস্টে?
শাগনিক তুমি শুনতে পাচ্ছো?
আই থিঙ্ক স্যার শাগনিক এখনো জয়েন করেনি।
এখানে এখানে শাগনিক ব্যানার, না না না, শাগনিক জয়েন করেনি, না না না। হ্যাঁ, ওর কি কিছু প্রবলেম হচ্ছিল, বলছিল কাল, জানি না আলটিমেটলি ও জয়েন করতে পারবে কিনা। আচ্ছা, অনসুয়া জয়েন করেছে, অনমিত্রা জয়েন করেছে।
Deepika madam is here, sir.
জয়েন করেছেন? হ্যাঁ, এই তো। থ্যাংক ইউ পিতা ম্যাডাম। অভিষেক,
Yes, sir.
বলছি তুমি একটু ওই আমাদের পার্টিসিপেন্টস এর একবার দেখে নেবে কজন এসছে, কে কে এসছে। তাহলে বোঝা যাবে।
Okay, dear all participants, I will start with your name.
হ্যালো, ভালো আছি।
Shoini, you here? Shoini Mukhopadhyay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Deepika Agnar. Can you hear me? Deepika Agnar. I think I accept someone.
I think Deepika has not joined.
She has not joined yet.
Rahul Bishwas.
Rahul
Present, sir.
Minarini Mondol.
Yes, sir.
Prijita Misra.
Yes, sir.
Prijita.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Megha Margarita Devi.
Present, sir.
Thank you. Snigdha Shaha. Snigdha.
Present, sir.
Shagota Das.
Present, sir.
Ehtesam Parveen.
Present, sir.
Okay, thank you. Shagnik Chatterjee. Simran Misra. Simran, I think I accept
I
someone.
think Simran is present for
Yes,
some
yes.
reason.
Priyam Jain.
Yes,
Priyam
sir.
Jain. Yes, sir. Thank you. Neha Das.
Yes, sir. Present.
Thank you. Antrisha Bishwas.
প্রেজেন্ট স্যার।
Okay, thank you.
No, Simran has not joined. But didn't join. Simran's name নেই কিন্তু।
কিছুক্ষণ আগে একবার দেখেছিলাম মনে হচ্ছে।
আমি
হ্যাঁ,
accept করি।
আচ্ছা, এখানে
Simran আর ওই Deepika and
Simran Misra is present here. Simran Goel, Simran Mishra. How many are present, Abhishek?
Almost all, sir, except Shagnik Chatterjee.
Shagnik and Deepika Iyengar. Okay, okay.
Another 5 minutes. Dr. Chandan Jain,
So Shagnik called me. He said he would join in 5 minutes.
Okay, fine. হ্যাঁ স্যার, ঠিক আছে। Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Our secretary, sir, is in here.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dr. Alfred is present here. Good afternoon. Good evening, rather, Dr. Alfred.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, we can start now. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. We heartily welcome all our guests, students, and participants of today's webinar, Restoring Our Art. Following the tradition of our college, today's session will start with a brief prayer service conducted by Mr. Debubhuta Gaur. We request Mr. Gaur to start the prayer.
আমার কথা শোনা যাচ্ছে?
Yes. হ্যাঁ দেবুদা।
আমি কি সাইলেন্ট হয়েছি?
হ্যাঁ, আমরা শুভ সন্ধ্যা সবাইকে। বিশেষ করে আজকে এরকম একটি প্রাকৃতিক দুর্যোগ এর মধ্যেও আমরা আজকে আমাদের সেন্ট পলস কলেজের নেচার ক্লাব এবং IQAC যৌথ উদ্যোগে আমরা যে রিস্টোরিং আওয়ার আর্ট ইন্টার কলেজ ওয়েবিনার কন্টেস্ট অর্গানাইজ করা হয়েছে, আমরা অবশ্যই তার জন্য আমরা ঈশ্বরকে ধন্যবাদ দেওয়ার জন্য আমরা আজ এখানে এসেছি। আমরা প্রথমেই আমাদের কলেজে যে রীতি আছে সেই অনুযায়ী আমরা ঈশ্বরের কাছে তার আশীর্বাদ চাই আমাদের যে কোনো অনুষ্ঠানের জন্য। আমরা সেই প্রার্থনা করে আমরা আমাদের প্রত্যেকটি কলেজের প্রোগ্রাম শুরু করতে করি, বরাবরই সেইভাবে হয়ে আসে। তাই জন্য আমরা এই সময় ঈশ্বরের কাছে প্রার্থনা করি। হে মঙ্গলময় পিতা, তোমার মহানামে ধন্যবাদ দিই যে তুমি আজকে আমাদের সকলকে এইরকম একটি পরিস্থিতির মধ্যে একত্রিত করেছো। এইরকম প্রাকৃতিক দুর্যোগ, এইরকম একটি মহামারীর অবস্থাতেও তুমি আমাদের প্রত্যেককে বাঁচিয়ে রেখেছো। আমরা আমাদের কৃতজ্ঞতা তোমাকে জানাই। আর বিশেষ করে আজকে আমাদের নেচার ক্লাব এবং IQAC তারা যৌথভাবে যে ইন্টার কলেজ ওয়েবিনার কন্টেস্টের শুরু করতে চলেছি আমরা, তুমি আশীর্বাদ করো। আমরা বিশ্বাস করি প্রভু যে সেন্ট পলস কলেজের প্রত্যেকটি অনুষ্ঠানের মধ্যেও তুমি থাকো। আমাদের প্রত্যেকটি প্রোগ্রাম যখন আমরা যেভাবেই করে থাকি না কেন, তুমি আমাদেরকে সাহায্য করো, আশীর্বাদ করো। আমরা বিশ্বাস করি আজকেও তোমার উপস্থিতি আমরা পাবো, এবং বিশেষ করে আজকের এইরকম একটি অবস্থাতেও এখানে আমাদের মধ্যে যারা উপস্থিত আছেন আমাদের তাদের প্রত্যেককে তোমার হাতে রাখি। বিশেষ করে চিফ গেস্ট যিনি আছেন, যিনি আমাদের স্পেশাল গেস্ট আছেন, যে সমস্ত স্টুডেন্টরা আজকে এখানে পার্টিসিপেট করবেন তাদের প্রত্যেককে তুমি আশীর্বাদ করো, যেন আজকের যে চিন্তা ভাবনা নিয়ে আমরা এইটা শুরু করতে চলেছি তোমার আশীর্বাদ যেন থাকে আমাদের স্বতঃস্ফূর্ত সেই আলোচনার মধ্যে দিয়ে, যেন আমরা আমাদের এই আর্টকে কি করে আবার রিস্টোর করতে পারি সে সম্পর্কে আমরা বুঝতে পারি। আর এই সমস্ত জ্ঞান বুদ্ধির তোমার কাছ থেকে আসি, তাই তোমার কাছ থেকে সেই আশীর্বাদ আমরা চাই। তুমি আমাদের প্রত্যেককে আশীর্বাদ করো, যারা এখানে বক্তা, যারা বলবেন, আমরা যারা শ্রোতা, যারা শুনবো, এবং যারা প্রশ্ন উত্তর বিভিন্ন পর্বে যারা অংশগ্রহণ করবে তাদের সকলকে প্রভু তোমার আশীর্বাদ তুমি দিয়ে রেখো প্রভু। আর বিশেষ করে যেহেতু এটা নেচার ক্লাবের যৌথ উদ্যোগে, তাই প্রভু আজকের দিনের জন্য বিশেষভাবে তোমার কাছে সে আশীর্বাদ চাই। যে আমফানে যেরকম পরিস্থিতি আমরা দেখেছিলাম প্রভু, আমরা তোমার কাছে প্রার্থনা করি যেন প্রকৃতি সেই রকম পরিস্থিতির মধ্যে না আসে, যেন মানুষ সেরকম কষ্টের মধ্যে অসুবিধার মধ্যে যেন না পড়ে। তুমি একমাত্র সৃষ্টিকর্তা ঈশ্বর, তুমি তোমার প্রকৃতিকে সেইভাবে শান্ত করে রাখো যেন মানুষের দুর্যোগ যেন না তাদের পড়তে হয়। বিশ্বাস করি তুমি আমাদের প্রত্যেকটি প্রার্থনা শুনেছ, আর এই অনুষ্ঠানকে সুন্দর সাফল্যমণ্ডিত করার জন্য তোমার উপস্থিতি, তোমার আশীর্বাদ তুমি আমাদের প্রত্যেককে দান করেছো। ধন্যবাদ, কৃতজ্ঞতা তোমার চরণ তুলে রাখি। এই প্রার্থনা দয়া করে তুমি স্থূল গ্রাহ্য করো। আমেন।
Thank you, Devuda.
থ্যাংক ইউ।
I would like to request Dr. Kollan Kumar Mundur, Coordinator, Nature Club, NC, to introduce the theme of today's webinar. Dr. Kollan Mundur, please.
Am I audible to you?
Yes.
Okay. Hello everyone and welcome to all of you in the today's evening session. The day's webinar entitled Restoring Our Art is being organized by the Nature Club in collaboration with IQAC of St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, Kolkata. Since the birth of Nature Club of our college in 2019, We are regularly organizing seminars, debates, poster presentations, cultural program on the occasion of Vriksharopon, photography competition, collage competition, plastic awareness program, and webinars under this pandemic situation to make students and others aware of the nature and natural processes. And today's event is an extension of that. It is a glorious moment to extend my warm wishes to all of you on behalf of the Nature Club. At the outset, I want to convey my heartfelt gratitude to our guests, Dr. Preeta Bhattacharya, Assistant Professor, Department of Environmental Science, University of Calcutta, and Dr. Ashok Kanti Sannal, Chairperson, West Bengal Biodiversity Board, who had kindly accepted our invitation and blessed the occasion with their gracious presence. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to Dr. J.R.B. Alfred, Secretary of the governing body of our college, who is always keen to take part in any event of the Nature Club. He is the President of the Nature Environment and Wildlife Society and also the President of Zoological Society of Kolkata. He is truly a nature's lover. I am indebted to our college authorities, especially to Professor Debashish Mondol, our own teacher in charge, Professor Shubhendu Kanjilal, bursar of our college, and Dr. Shobboshachi Mohapatro, IQAC coordinator of our college, for extending their cooperation and wholehearted support to organize this event. I would like to extend a special thanks to Professor Abhishek Das and Dr. Rana Adhikari, the joint conveners of this event, and also the board of members comprising of Professor Mousumi Mukhopadhyay, Professor Anamitra Sarkar, and Professor Abhishek Das, who had taken the responsibility of shortlisting the participants from a long list of contestants for the oral presentation. I am really thankful to Professor Mousumi Mukhopadhyay for hosting this program. Special thanks to Mr. Debabrata Bhatt, the head clerk of our college, for his prayer to the Almighty, and also to Professor Pritha Gupta. I would like to thank all the members of the Nature Club, all my colleagues of the St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College family for providing encouragement and support. I congratulate all the contestants from Kolkata and from other states of India who had submitted the abstracts. I must acknowledge that your ideas are very lucid and creative, but unfortunately, due to time constraints, we are unable to accommodate all of you within the time limits of the program. I expect your participation in the coming time. I wish the best to the students who are going to present today. Heartiest congratulations to the students of our college who help directly or indirectly to organize this event. In this connection, I want to mention the name of Antariksh Venkataramanan, who is our students convener, along with Shubham Nandi and Rajarshi Samanto. Dear students, I appreciate you and must acknowledge that without your help, this would have been almost impossible for us to organize this event. Now, I want to share a few words for the day's event. Today's event is organized to pay respect to the Earth Day. Every year on April 22, we observe Earth Day to spread awareness regarding the alarming condition of our planet. It was on this day in the year 1970, Earth Day was first celebrated as World Earth Day, and later the day started being observed globally by around 182 nations. With each passing year, the global climate is getting worse. This makes our prime duty to conserve and save Mother Nature so that every entity on this planet lives peacefully. In this year, the theme of this special day is Restore Our Earth. This prompts us to choose the theme of the day's webinar. As the event progresses, the participants are going to present their ideas, and I strongly believe that they will show the way to tackle the crisis and path to promote awareness related to Earth's environment. Thank you, one and all. Thanks for patience.
Thank you, Dr. Mondal, for introducing the theme today. Now, I would like to request our teacher in charge, Professor Debashish Mondal, to share some words with us. Sir.
Thank you, Moswiti. Good evening, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, our coordinator of the Nature Club, Dr. Kullan Mondol, and his team for organizing such a webinar along with IQAC of our college, Restoring Art. So really, the environment is where we all meet, where all have a mutual interest. It is the one thing all of us share. And I'm very happy that we have with us our today's chief guest, Dr. Pritha Bhattacharya, Assistant Professor, Department of Environmental Science, University of Calcutta. And I welcome also our chief guest, the special guest, Dr. Ashok Kanti Sannal, Chairman, West Bengal Biodiversity Board. I'm really glad that they are with us, and we will be really enriched by their talks. And I also welcome our secretary, governing body secretary, Dr. Alfred, GRB Alfred, and also Dr. Sobyasati Mahapatro, Professor Shubhendu Kanjilal, and all teachers of the St. Paul's College and students, and especially those who are taking part in various presentation, presenting various slides or anything, really will be enriched by their presentation. Thank you very much all, and we pray that it will be a success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your views with us. We are privileged to have with us today Dr. J.R.B. Alfred, Secretary, Governing Body, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College. I would request sir to share his views with us. Sir.
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Because unfortunately my computers are way this way, that way, so I'm using my niece's computer. But as long as you can hear me, is it okay? Can I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
I'm extremely happy that the Nature Club and IQAC of the St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, Calcutta, are hosting an inter-college webinar contest on the particular subject, Restoring Our Earth, on the occasion of Earth Day 2021. For this, I wish to express my deep sense of gratitude to Dr. Kalyan Kumar Mandal, Coordinator, Nature Club, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, and convener of this webinar, who along with his colleagues, Ms. Pritha Gupta, Professor, Department of Zoology, and Mr. Abhishek Das, Professor, Department of Microbiology, has not only taken the initiative, but they have brought it to fruition today. Thanks also go to the teacher in charge, Dr. Debashish Mandal, Vice Principal, Dr. Gautam Banerjee, and our bursar, Dr. Shubhendu Kanjilal, as well as to Dr. Sabyachi Mahapatra, IQAC Coordinator, for providing all the support it needed to see that this webinar reaches out to the widest possible audience, and especially to most of the students. All the more it is a delight to see that this is a webinar on nature in the truest sense, as seen by the participation of such distinguished speakers from some of the most renowned institutions. We are ever so grateful to our chief guest, Dr. Pritha Bhattacharya, Assistant Professor, Department of Environmental Sciences, University of Calcutta, and especially to the chief guest, my very dear friend, Dr. Ashok Kanti Sannal, Chairman, West Bengal Biodiversity Board, for readily accepting the invitation to participate in this webinar and possibly share not only their scientific knowledge, but also their personal experiences in this particular field, in the subjects in which they have excelled in their own right, and which would be of great experience and which would be of great use to our students. The inclusion of the 14 oral presentation by students in the technical session will help our own researchers not only to showcase their work, but more importantly to interact with each other in their respective fields of work. 3 of the students are from other colleges also, other than St. Paul's, and 1 is from Bangalore, which makes this webinar truly national. I welcome the Bangalore student. A very important aspect that deserves credit is also the inclusion of the various students of various disciplines like history, economics, chemistry, physics, and even a Bachelor of Arts General student who to give us their point of view on a subject that affects all of us. It would be a very interesting aspect to listen to these people from their own disciplines. I am not fully competent, I'm not sure to say anything on today's webinar, but may I request the coordinator that I may be permitted to share a few words from my own personal experiences and experiences in my secular life and my experiences as I worked in University and Geological Survey of India on this particular topic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Let us begin with science. Remember, science in India is no longer a knowledge system. A scientist must know, especially in an ecological age, that nature is always in flux. We as scientists operate under idiotic assumptions that treat nature as a commodity, and we think that nature will fix things. Scientific ethics is treated marginally. Science literally has to return to truth-telling by admitting its mistake, candidly. And you have not seen this much more with COVID. We have lost the sense of the epic and ethics of science, when all the while, the second wave of COVID-19 threatened to take the mammoth of a shape of a tsunami. Where did we have our masks? We lowered it. But now, with environment and nature, we have raised our masks much higher and closed our eyes to this degrading nature. Not only the earth, but the human world as we know is now turning on its axis. It also calls for a relook at the way the world order deals not only with consequences of the pandemic, but also its origins. And how is this one to be comes in terms of the world beyond our borders? This is not a new idea. Because when you know that our planet is divided into nearly 200 nation states, 4 times since probably Spanish flu, and 4 times that existed at the start of the Great War of 1914 to 1918. And therefore, pandemic, much like the threat of climate change or the extermination of oceanic fauna, is a phenomenon that spans the globe. Just as migratory birds or insects can travel over continents or oceans, so too can organisms that affect humans so badly. Never before has this world, if not forced, to take a step back from normal life and give nature the breathing room it needs. 2020's lockdown, and I do not know about this present lockdown, have led to a 17% global decrease in carbon emissions and a 20% fall in nitrogen oxide levels, according to NASA and to various other reports. Waterways were cleared up to their pristine glory. Animals even were venturing into cities and towns around the world. While it seems if this is restoration, a wonderful revival for the planet, it's a temporary one as human civilization returns to normal and extinctions return to their previous rate. Let's go back historically. What is restoration to where? We have experienced and known about 5 mass extinction events that shaped the history of the Earth. One is the Ordovician Silurian extinction, 440 million years ago, where 85 species got went. Second one was the Lake Devonian extinction, 3365 million years ago, 75% species extinct. The Permian Triassic extinction, 253 million years ago, 96% of marine life and 70% of terrestrial extinct species. The fourth one is the Triassic Jurassic extinction, 201 million years ago, 80% species extinct. And the last one, the fifth one, KPG, where K stands for the word Crady, which means Cretaceous, which means the Cretaceous Paleogone extinction 66 million years ago, species made extinct was 75%. And the sixth one is happening. That is where you're talking about restoration of the Earth. But have you all seen one thing? That the first 5 mass extinctions occurred without the presence of a single human being. No humans were there. Species went. But today you're considering, because you're part of that. That is the importance of what you think of restoration to Earth. Does this mean that we refer to restoration of Earth? We go back to the period when humans started to appear on Earth? Or is it the period when the Industrial Revolution began? Or is it the period when we came to know about such things as pollution, global warming, climate change, or in fact the ozone hole or such? Which benchmark is the period that you want the earth to be restored to when you say restoring our earth? Restoration. Does this not sound familiar to many of us, and for the many more after the pandemic, when if something goes wrong in the computer, it asks us whether we want to restore it and also provides us a point of restoration. But it also warns us that if we want to restore it to the original company settings, we may lose our data that we had fed into it. So the choice, my dear friends, is the choice left to us, you and me, on how and when to go back to restoration of helping to restore this earth. Therefore, before let us see about the benchmark, all of us let us come together to be putting in place what is best for restoration without the concept of how long back we have to go to restore the earth. Let's start by simple things like planting of trees, identifying areas of protection, trying to lessen our oil consumption, harvest species from the ocean only that is required, and to keep the breeding season sacrosanct. Just to give you a few examples. The dignity, our dignity and the dignity of humans is indivisible. As species, we are bound together as much as our vulnerabilities and as much as our much celebrated strengths. I just wanted to tell you one thing. Pandemic or no pandemic, I do not know how many of you were aware till I found this out. Writing on the elimination of smallpox in 1973-1974 in India, Professor Paul Grindno drew the attention to an irony of history. The same year that India put a stop to smallpox, witnessed the launch of an all-in effort to save the tiger in situ from extinction. The tiger program came into being at the same time. Therefore, friends, how do we reimagine our own place on earth, not apart from other life forms, but as a part of a continuum? Better science and wiser use of knowledge apart, a new humility may be the need of the hour. I wish each and every one of them, and particularly the younger students, to bring in newer ideas of saving our planet, and not only for restoring it back, but to restoration in the concept of leaving what we can and what we have seen in our lifetime to our children, our grandchildren, and our great-great-grandchildren. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be part of this remarkable webinar. And I'm sure that all of you who have joined in are looking forward to it as much as I am. Best wishes and congratulations to all of you who have put this together. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable thoughts. Talking to you always have enriched us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Now, I would like to request Dr. Shobbhasati Mahapatro, Coordinator IQAC of our college, to share some words with us. Dr. Mahapatro.
Am I audible?
Yes, Abhishek, Dr. Mahapatro.
Good evening, everybody. Respected teacher in charge, Secretary of the Governing Body of St. Paul's CM College, all distinguished guests and dignitaries, my colleagues and my dear students. On behalf of the Internal Quality Assurance Cell of St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, I welcome everybody in the Inter-College Webinar Contest organized by the Nature Club and IQAC of this college on the occasion of Earth Day 2021. The Earth Day is celebrated on the 22nd day of April every year. The day marks the anniversary of the birth of the modern environmental movement in 1970. The day inspires us to act towards the protection of the environment and focus on the need for conservation. Celebration of Earth Day serves as a conscious reminder of how fragile our planet is and how important it is to protect it. The theme of Earth Day 2021 is to restore our Earth. It focuses on adapting natural processes and emerging eco-friendly technologies that can restore ecosystems. We are fortunate to have Dr. Pritha Bhattacharya, Assistant Professor, Department of Environmental Science, University of Calcutta as the chief guest, and Dr. Ashok Kanti Sannal, Chairman of the West Bengal Biodiversity Board, as the special guest in this program in spite of their busy schedule. I wish the program to be a grand success. Thank you all.
Thank you, Shobhitaji, for your encouraging words. Now I would like to request Professor Shubhendu Kanjilal, bursar of our college, and share his views with us. Shubhendu. Professor Kanjilal is here.
He has joined, but now it. Yes, he is there.
Am I audible?
Yes, Professor Shubhendu Kanjilal, you are audible.
Okay. Respected learned guests, Dr. Pritha Bhattacharya, Assistant Professor in the Department of Environmental Science, Calcutta University, and Dr. Ashok Kanti Sannal, Chairman, West Bengal Biodiversity Boards. Respected Dr. J.R.B. Alfred, Secretary of the Governing Body, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College. Respected Teacher in Charge, Vice Principal, IQAC Coordinator, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, my esteemed colleagues from this college and all other colleges, and finally, my beloved students and participants. I first thank all the distinguished guests for sparing their valuable time for this webinar, and I wholeheartedly welcome them all to this college, which started its odyssey on 24/1/1865, earning a heritage of 157 years. In the long checkered history of the college, down a whole century and little more than half, the college passes through many occasions of highest elation and deepest despair, victory and vanquishment, and in this dynamic fusion of polarities are sown the seeds of dreams. We are all assembled here today in this inter-college webinar contest entitled Restoring Our Earth, to learn from the participants about the different possibilities of restoration of our habitat Earth, which is the third planet from the Sun at a distance of about 150 million kilometers and is the fifth largest planet in the solar system. It is known to be the only planet in solar system that supports life, as its atmosphere contains approximately 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 1% other gases, which is perfect to breathe and live. However, due to technological advancement and our greed for more and more, the environment in which we are living is becoming increasingly contaminated. According to the United Nations, despite ongoing efforts, biodiversity are deteriorating worldwide at rates unprecedented in human history. It is estimated that around 1 million animal and plant species are now threatened with extinction. Therefore, to highlight environmental issues like loss of biodiversity, increasing pollution, etc., every year, Earth Day is observed on 22nd of April each year. It was first observed by United States Senator Gaylord Nelson in 1970, though the idea was first proposed by the peace activist John McConnell in 1969 at a UNESCO conference in San Francisco. The theme of Earth Day for this year is Restoring Our Earth, which has been chosen by our Nature Club for the purpose of webinar contest. The climate change and coronavirus pandemic have reminded us of the harm we have caused. Thus, we must restore our Earth, not just because we care about the natural world, but because we live on it. We all know that the entire globe is now shivering in fear of coronavirus disease 2019 caused by RNA virus SARS-CoV-2. After its outbreak in Wuhan Jiantan Hospital, Wuhan City, Hubei province of China, in the middle of December 2019, the disease has now spread over 220 countries and territories over the planet, affecting almost 16,75,34,605 people with a death toll of 34,78,606 people as on 24th May 2021 at 8:09 GMT. India is now the second worst affected victim of this pandemic. Considering the country-wise infection, India is in the first position for the last 6 weeks with an average of more than 21 lakh infection for the last 4 weeks. The disease has thrown a challenge to entire human civilization. Amidst this unprecedented crisis, the Nature Club of this college, in collaboration with internal quality assurance cell of the college, has organized this inter-college webinar contest through electronic mode. I must take this opportunity to thank all the faculty members of the Nature Club of our college and also IQAC coordinator Dr. Shobhasachী Mahapatra for arranging such contest. In fact, no word of appreciation is sufficient to justify the untiring effort and dedication of Dr. Kalyan Kumar Mondal, coordinator Nature Club, for making this webinar a reality. Finally, I thank the organizers for organizing such a time-relevant webinar contest and also for giving me an opportunity to say a few words. Thank you all.
Thank you, Professor Kanjilal.
Thank you, Shivendu, for your kind words and sharing valuable words with us. Now, we are deeply honored to have among us our chief guest, Dr. Pritha Bhattacharya. Dr. Bhattacharya completed her PhD in human molecular genetics from CSIR IICB. Presently, she is faculty member of the Department of Environment, University of Calcutta. Her research area includes environmental epigenetics, occupational health, lifestyle disorders, and also silico-based prediction analysis. Dr. Bhattacharya has numerous publications in international journals and has mentored and supervised more than 25 postgraduate students from different institutes and universities. Now, I would request Dr. Bhattacharya to share her thoughts with us. Please unmute yourself. Thank you.
Very good evening to all of you. I'm really very honored. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm really very honored to be here with all of you today. And I express my sincere gratitude to the St. Paul's College Authority for inviting me. Special thanks to Dr. Kalyan Mondal and Abhishek for this. And this is really an excellent topic and time that to talk about this nature club initiatives. And I always think that if students become aware of the surroundings of the environments, what are going on, then only we can do something better for the future. Because now is the time that we can understand that we are in the situation of peril. Why is the theme is restoration of our earth? Or if we think that the 5th of June is coming, which is known as World Environment Day, so we celebrate this Earth Day. Their theme is restoration of our earth. And if we think also what is the theme of this upcoming 5th of June World Environment Day, that is the theme is ecosystem restoration. So always we are talking about restoration. Why? Because we understand the time has come where we need to restore. And here is another question. Are we supposed to restore? Whether humans are bigger than the other animal species? What is the concept? Do we think that everything is anthropogenic? So we have an anthropocentric concept, which should not be. If we think that all the other organisms like us, we have an equal space, just we have another advantage of being in the top that we can express, but there are the animals, there are the plants, they have the same space with us. So we don't have any right that to destroy. That enough we have did. We have polluted our environment. If you think about the air pollution, water pollution, everything, this anthropogenic activities has fastened all these activities. So we have also just come across this from the last year, that we are facing this COVID pandemic. And yes, that everything has stopped. Entire activities of world have stopped. And during this lockdown, we have find that how environment soothes. Again, the pollution PM 2.5 level has been drastically down. We have seen nature, it's flourishing. So it proved that we are not doing right. We are not doing the justice, and that climate justice is required. And again, another thing that we are facing recurrently, this is the climatic variability. We can understand that how much of climatic problem is going on. We know that this temperature, global temperature, needs to be within a span of 1.5 degrees Celsius. But whatever the activities that we are doing, that we have to have a perfect policy, and we have to implement all those things, because that actions are really needed. Otherwise, the temperature, the target that we are talking about, that will not be in that space. So it's entirely the time that we need to be stay in peace and harmony with other species. The nature, we need to, if we need to survive, if we need to exist, we have to go for a sustainable lifestyle. So what that sustainable lifestyle? I will not go detailed, because today we are just waiting for the students to come up their views. But sustainable lifestyle is really a thing that these pandemic are giving us the lesson. Now we can understand what is the difference between our need and the greed. What are our desire, the luxury lifestyle that we want, and what is the reality? What's really is the need? If we understand what is our need, if we can understand that what is the wastage, what's the waste, then only we can reduce it at the source. Be it the pollution, be it anything, be it the energy, we can save it only if we can understand. So I will request all the students, all the young generation, just to think that yes, one individual, anyone can be a part of this change. We don't want to be a part of the problem, rather we want to be a part of the solution. And this solution we can do in each of the small step we can take towards the solution. Then we don't need to think of the big words, the climate changes. We are listening all these words daily, but every time it should come to our mind that what we can do. Just think that how much waste we are doing, what is our requirement daily, how can we make it cut. If our activities can reduce the pollution, the plastic pollution, nowadays you will be listening about the nanoplastics and the microplastics, how you are contaminating this nature and the animals over there, how the biodiversity is reducing at a faster rate by only our activities, how we are just over exploiting our natural resources, be it the water resources, be it the energy resources. So we need to think, and so that in our daily lifestyle we can take a small steps so that we can reduce this and we can be sustainable in our daily lifestyle. Then only the restoration is possible. So need to make this concept, to make these effective of the restoration of art, first need to restore ourselves, restore our mindset. We have to have these goals set in our mind, that what should be our activity. The work should not be in our studies, not only in the book, rather it should be in the implementation. With this hope, I express my sincere thanks again to the St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, all the authorities, colleagues, friends, and dear students. Welcome you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for such an encouraging views and ideas. We're sure our students are going to be very helpful with your presence and your views.
Thank you.
We are also honored to have among us Dr. Ashok Kanti Sanyal, Chairman, West Bengal Biodiversity Board. Dr. Sanyal completed his PhD in zoology from University of Calcutta. Previously, he served as the Director of Zoological Survey of India, and he is presently the Chairman of West Bengal Biodiversity Board. Sir, I would request you to share your thoughts with us.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I am audible, huh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Very good evening to everybody. My respected and honorable Dr. G.R.B. Alfred, my previous boss, and in other sense, my guru also, and honorable teacher in charge of the college, today's distinguished chief guest, Dr. Bhattacharya, and all the distinguished professors and others in the college, and distinguished guests, and my beloved students who are participating in today's program. I'm really delighted and I'm honored to be here today in an occasion in which I am associated with last many years. This subject is also very much pertinent in today's crisis of all over the globe. And previous speakers have categorically mentioned, repeatedly mentioned about the present crisis and the responsible element of this crisis have also been identified through researches all over the world. And that element is the humankind. Humankind. Just in this respect, I would like to mention in other ways that most of the participants are Bengali, so that you must have heard a song, very emotional song about the old age home. About the old age home. The father, after getting old, the son has sent him in an old age home. In an old age home. And the father is spending time there. He is not getting any chance to see his son's relatives, but he had everything. He had enough money. He had the house. He had all the very good, affectionate associations. But today, he has nothing. And what for? This situation? As because his son, his next generation, is not ready to look after him. Out of the greed that Madam already told, need and greed, out of the greed, they want to enjoy all the resources of the parents, father, but instead of that, the son is not ready to give him the affection, particularly the affection, love and respect And same thing is happening with us, with the nature. Today's theme of the program is the restoring our earth. Then question comes, is the earth getting abolished, getting degraded? If it is so, then the question of restoration comes. Restoring the earth. With the humankind, the plants, animals, all living creatures are the sons and daughters of the nature, of the earth, Mother Earth. We call it Mother Earth. We regard the earth as our mother, and we are the sons. So that it is the responsibility in a natural phenomena that son should look after his mother and father. If it is not, then the mother and father will have to go to that old age home, and they would not be able to do anything for his sons and daughters. And why the sons and daughters will send them in the home? That to enjoy the resources, the money and other resources of the parents. Similarly, with the humankind, the sons of the Mother Earth are enjoying out of our greed all the resources at a time. Mother is ready to give our resources. She is always ready. And mother is culturing and maintaining the resources only for the sons. Only for the son. But son always, with the people, with the humankind, the sons are not ready to get it in a due time. But we want to take it at a time. And it has happened with the earth. Earth has everything. It is now very old in age. How old it is? 4.6 billion years before this earth was originated. And this long way, first 1 billion years, there was no life, and then life came about 3.5 billion years after, and then living organisms have thrived, multiplied and diversified to occupy every ecosystem on the earth. Every ecosystem on the earth. And now the problem is that these ecosystems which are extending the services for successful living of all the life forms, these services are getting disrupted, getting abolished. And that's why this restoration is to be needed, as because the ecosystem is the system which is created through interactions between the living and non-living components of the universe, of the nature, we can say. And the depletion, inordinate depletion of these resources cause this problem which we are facing now. If we look the ancient civilization, the Roman civilization, most flourished, most rich ancient civilization, but a day came when this civilization was abolished completely. And the Euphrates-Tigris civilization, our Harappan civilization, Maya civilization, all have been demolished due to this ill behavior, ill behavior with the nature, and that behavior relates to the loss of biodiversity. So that, and already it is mentioned that the rate of loss of biodiversity has been increased many folds. The extinction is a natural process, it's fact, but the rate of extinction has been increased in many folds, 1,000 times more than the natural process. And Earth is not capable to cope up with this rate of extinction process. And really, it's fact that Earth is not happy, not well. It needs medicine. It needs the affection. It needs the help of the mothers, of her sons. That means the humankind. We are the culprit. We are the culprit for our ill behavior. This is the condition of the mother, the earth. So that we have to take the responsibility. The doctor has come at home and doctor then told, you have to take the responsibility of your mother. You go to medicine shop, you bring all these medicines. Either you admit your mother in the hospital, no other to look after her, so that it is your responsibility. Then the son realized and shifted the mother in the hospital and extended all sorts of helps. Then only the mother will again come into its full form. The same thing will have to do with the humankind. Is responsible for this. Dr. Alfred already mentioned. We have already this Mother Earth has already faced 5 episodes of extinction, and the humankind is going to face the 6th episode of extinction, which has already been initiated, as per the according to some number of scientists, and so that, and this extinction process, 6th one, would be caused by the humankind, indiscriminate activities of the humankind. So that this is the high time for restoring our Mother Earth. We are to change our behavior. We are to change our heart, so that we can love our mother. We can extend our all sorts of help. We can extend our all sorts of nursing to our ill mother. Then only our mother can be restored. His health will be restored, and we will get healthy mother. And then not only ourselves, the present generation, the coming generation, the future generations will enjoy the resources of the mother. And so that's why for I appeal to the students present here. You, the students, you have some responsibilities. We have some responsibilities, no doubt of it. But you are the future generation. You are the future custodians of the Mother Earth. So that you are to, that all Dr. Alfred mentioned, you are to think. You are to think on your own ways, on your own capability, how to save Earth, how to restore our Mother Earth. One example, that plantation process, plantation and awareness program, awareness activities are to be continuously organized in your localities, in your schools, in your colleges, and to the people, whoever you know. Start from your home. Give the lesson first to your parents, and then go to your friends, your neighbors. You try to influence them. You try to make them aware what is the necessity of restoring the Mother Earth. If we don't do, then it will be, we should have to face the problem. we should have to face the problem. And this is the high time you all try. Otherwise, this pandemic will repeat, many more times. And this chaos, this cyclone, this amphan, it will come repeatedly, but a day will come when it will go out of our hand, out of our capacity to control, maintain this civilization. Thinking all these ill effects, it is to be kept in mind that it is the high time to take steps for restoring our Mother Earth for the future generation as well as the present one for successful and happy living on this Mother Earth. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words. Now we are moving to the presentation section for today's program. Our students will now present slideshows on the theme of today's Restoring Our Earth. Today's first presentation is by Shohini Mukhopadhyay, student, Department of Microbiology, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College. Shohini?
Thank you, ma'am, for introducing me.
Welcome. One more thing. Shohini, before we start the presentation, I would like to request everyone, if anyone of you have any question regarding the presentation, please write it in the chat box. And because of the time shortage, we cannot be able to raise all the questions. She might be able to answer one or two questions. So please keep the questions short. Thank you, Shohini.
I hope the slides are visible.
Yes.
Thank you. A very good evening to everyone present here. My name is Shohini Mukhopadhyay, a semester 6 student from Department of Microbiology, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, and I would like to present the topic, Restoring Our Earth, One Coral at a Time. I would be talking about coral reefs, why they're important, the threats they're currently facing, and what we can actually do about it. Coral reefs are one of the world's most biologically diverse and vulnerable marine ecosystems. They comprise colonies of coral polyps held together by calcium carbonate. Mostly found in the shallow tropical oceans of Indo-Pacific region, Southeast Asia, and Australia, we all know them as the colorful beings adorning the ocean floors. But they are much more than just a pretty sight to look at. Also known as the rainforests of the sea, they are oases of productivity in low-nutrient ocean regions, providing ecosystems, nutrition, and coastal protection to hundreds of millions of people. In addition, coral reefs provide an accurate long-term record of climate changes. The success of coral reefs in these oligotrophic regions is due in large part to the efficient nutrient recycling symbiosis that has evolved between coral hosts and symbiotic zooxanthellae, where the coral provides shelter to the photosynthetic algae, serving as the source of nutrition and, surprisingly, color. Yet, under certain environmental circumstances like thermal stress, the zooxanthellae produces reactive oxygen species that are toxic to the coral, leading to the expulsion of symbionts and bleaching as the coral's white skeleton becomes visible through its translucent connective tissue. As a result, the corals lose their major source of food, becoming more susceptible to diseases and even death due to starvation. Factors triggering this process include mining, expulsion of pollutants and oil spills into oceans, extreme low tide, oxygen starvation due to overfishing, and most importantly, climate change. Increased greenhouse gases from human activities have resulted in climate change. Carbon dioxide, one of the most important greenhouse gases, gets readily absorbed by world's oceans. This, though slows down global warming, results in ocean acidification. Apart from that, increase in sea level, alteration of ocean currents, and changes in precipitation and storm patterns further add to the changing ocean chemistry. Coral bleaching, however, is mainly triggered by rapid increases in sea surface temperature as a direct consequence of oceans absorbing 93% of the extra heat generated due to climate change. The sudden outbreak of mass coral bleaching around the world in 1980s was unprecedented, the first natural ecosystem threat from global warming that resulted in the demise of the world's largest coral reefs. We have lost countless individual corals and entire reef tracts along the Pacific, Indian, and Atlantic Oceans to mass bleaching and related stresses since then. Most of the bleaching events were found to be triggered by the El Niño years, marked by rapid increases of sea surface temperature in the Pacific Ocean. This short-term warming has a big impact on reef corals, as most die if the temperature persists to be 2 degrees centigrade above the average temperature of the hottest month for a month. The last global event, starting from mid-2015, was the longest because of the El Niño extending from 2014 to 2017. Talking about bleaching events, while the corals of Great Barrier Reef and those along the Pacific coast faced the greatest threat, India was not safe either. Coral reefs of islands of Andaman, Nicobar, and Lakshadweep, Gulf of Kutch and that of Mannar, and most recently, Malvan and Grand Island also faced similar threats. However, coral bleaching is still not studied enough in India. If the stress conditions are reversed, the corals may recover, but with the scientists predicting the bleaching to be an annual event in near future, reefs may not get the chance. With the dual threat of short-term warming by El Niño and long-term warming by climate change, the coral reef ecosystems just might be the first to face extinction as a result of global warming, leaving all the other dependent ecosystems vulnerable. If we want to restore our Mother Earth and nurture her back to glory, we have to start at the grassroots level with the corals. Urgent unified global action to reduce coral stresses while simultaneously researching for the stress responses and resulting adaptations is needed. I would like to end my presentation by thanking the organizing authorities for arranging this webinar and my teachers for giving me this opportunity. Lastly, this is a list of all the articles from where I collected the information that were necessary for this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Shohini. That was a lovely presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
One quick question. Shohini, I'm asking you that what should be your solution for this problem?
The thing that I came across while going through the articles and the journals, the main thing is in India, whenever we talk about coral bleaching, we tend to fixate on the Great Barrier Reef and along the Pacific coast. But those along India are not so studied and they need attention because they still can be recovered. The Lakshadweep, the corals along the Lakshadweep are showing recovery. We need to study them and see how they're adapting to the changing temperature, and that way we can implement them on the others.
Okay.
One more thing, I would like to suggest the Sohini to also look into all the papers of the Zoological Survey of India, where a lot of studies have been studied on coral reefs in Andaman as well as in Lakshadweep. And we have got much more data than we don't go back to this thing. Indian scientists do not go back to coral reefs in the Great Barrier Reef. No, not anymore. We have our own good data here. Kindly see the papers. You will get much more information within India and regarding coral bleach and also with effect to El Niño effects. So kindly look at that.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
Anyone have any questions? Then we think we move on to the next presentation. Today's second participant is Deepika Iyengar. She is from Bangalore. She's a graduate student, Department of Biotechnology, Government Science Autonomous College, Rupathanga University from Bangalore. Welcome, Deepika. And
Moushumi madam, one point I want to address, since this is a competition, so I would ask all the students to maintain their time. So that is also an important part. You should restrict yourself within 5 minutes of time.
okay, you may start.
Thank you, Mosmi madam, and good evening, everyone present here. This is Deepika Iyengar from Bangalore, as ma'am just introduced me. Thank you for inviting me and accepting the abstract and the presentation that I have forwarded. It's a great opportunity that I got to talk about restoration of Earth. So just give me a minute. So I just want confirmation if my slide is visible.
Yes, it is. It is visible.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So, restoring our Earth. Now, why this big question and why this debate that we are talking, or why there are so many articles published? Why are there so many conventions that are being placed and people are following or not following? And basically, why? So, the mission to Horizon is to that a robust planet is not just an option, it is a prerequisite, because we live in the Mother Earth. So why restoration is important? Because firstly, understanding the pathetic state that we are into. I'm listing here a few of the incidents that are highly impacting our Mother Earth. That are the ozone layer depletion, the climate change, deforestation, blooming industries and its waste, global warming, and the biodiversity loss have played a major impact and a major role in diminishing the Earth's life. Well, the solution, when we talk about a solution, you need to understand a problem. To understand the core of a problem, you need to know where the framework is exactly. So the solution is to firstly fix the ecosystem. The ecological succession plays a major role in balancing the atmosphere and the biodiversity of the whole Earth. Well, and to reduce the climate change. Well, talking about climate change, what are the factors that are affecting? The ocean fertilization, the forest management, solar radiation management, and the soil management. Well, these are few that I could list, but there are many more that.
Hello, Deepika. Can you please extend the slides?
Yes, sir. I'm doing that. Okay. And also, the other major issue that we have come across, and the major issue that has to be addressed, is deforestation. And so how we overcome that? So it's by reforestation, that is by planting more trees. Because when we talk about deforestation, the carbon dioxide level increases. And also the life on Earth would become a bigger question mark there. Well, 15.4% of terrestrial habitats were estimated, and also of a percentage of 8.4 of marine habitats were predicted way back in 2014. But the state now is pathetic. Also, there are legal norms that are protecting the safety measures taken and the management of global environment protection plans. Well, when I was just telling you about the industrial waste, it means that we have to monitor the discharge of industrial waste, because the discharge of industrial waste to the ocean and the lakes and the rivers are polluting the environment widely. Well, as I said you, there is no planet B. So these are the references that I had to that I had taken the pictures to just picturize the effect of a very few things that have been affecting the Mother Earth. Well, we know that the mission has not yet stopped, and we also know that there are many activists who are emerging to protect the Planet Protection Act. And well, today I encourage each and every one of you here and would encourage my mates and also everyone that I know that let's take a pledge towards restoring our Earth, because we just have one planet. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Deepika. Any question? No question for Deepika. Then we move on to our third presentation. Our third participant for today's evening is Rahul Biswas. He's a sixth semester student from Department of Economic, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College. Welcome, Rahul.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Are the slides visible, ma'am?
Hi, Rahul.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so a very good evening to all the respected members present today. Today's topic, restoring our Earth, is very much required where we are standing today. I feel honored to share my views. I have divided the presentation by the following: challenges faced, why should we restore, how to restore, and conclusion. We need to know and make people aware the problems Earth face every day. Some of them are deforestation. Large areas of forests are being cleared for agricultural purpose and also due to forest fires. Global warming. Melting of glaciers, rise in the sea level, making the polar bears homeless. Loss of biodiversity. Plants, animals are getting endangered and extinct day by day due to human activities. Plastic pollution. Sea waters, oceans getting filled with plastics and cans, leading death to aquatic animals and birds. Now the question arises, why should we restore? What is lost should be recovered, maintain ecological equilibrium. So which feels better? Restoring Earth is restoring human health. It can help to sustain the rich diversity of human culture by promoting relationship between human and environment that are mutually beneficial. So yes, this feels better. How to restore? There are lots of ways that can be done, but I want to focus on our daily activities, which I think is a small change, but will have a greater influence as a whole. Use both sides of paper. It will reduce paper consumption and we can save more trees. Recycle newspapers. Recycling just the Sunday papers would save more than 500,000 trees every week. Take a shorter shower. Every 2 minutes we save on our shower can conserve 10 gallons of water. We have seen how women in desert areas carry water pots for miles and miles, and we can just afford wastewater. Plant a tree. which is the most important. Make it meaningful for the whole family and plant a tree every year for each member. We can use our lawns and gardens wisely. Close the tap while brushing. It unnecessarily raise our water bill and hurt our ecosystem. Turn off the lights when not in use. Conservation of electricity for our future generation is our responsibility. We should keep in mind there are places that don't have electricity still now. Boycott plastic bags. They are not biodegradable and are making way into oceans and subsequently the food chain. Pay bills online. Why not use online method? Cut down paper usage and let the trees live longer. So restoration is not only for humans, but this is also home to over 90,000 species of animals, 45,000 species of plants. We are killing them for our needs. Leather, woolen sweaters, selling tiger skins and elephant teeth should be stopped. This earth belongs to them more than we do. Though we celebrate Earth Day once a year, it should be a movement everyone and every day should follow. As Gandhi stated, you must be the change you wish to see in the world. Do our bit that will make the earth greener and beautiful. And I would like to end on a special note that as we know the cyclone is coming, it's my earnest request to everyone, please provide shelters to the street dogs, cats, and birds. Thank you. Presented by Rahul Bishwash, 6th semester, Department of Economics, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College.
Thank you, Rahul.
Thank you, Rahul. I have a question for you. Can you tell
Yes.
me what do you mean by climate refugee? Have you heard the term climate refugee?
Climate. Sorry, ma'am. I don't know about this.
Climate refugee. Okay.
Okay.
Just try to learn the word. You have a nice presentation.
Thank you
So
so much, ma'am.
I hope you should be aware of these things. Okay.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Thank you.
No more question. Our next presenter for today's evening is Mrinalini Mondol, student, Department of Microbiology, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College. Mrinalini.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening to all the members present over here. Today, I'm Mrinalini Mandal from Department of Microbiology of St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College is present over here to say something on my topic, Environmental Studies, Steps Towards Restoration of Art. There are various processes by which we can restore our art, but if it starts with educating people, it will be much better method in controlling our art. At first, let's take a glance. What is environment? Environment is derived from a French word, environ, which means encircle. Environment means anything that surrounds us. Our environment consists of two components, abiotic components and biotic components. Any living organisms, for example, plants, animals, are biotic components, and abiotic components are any non-living organisms, for example, air, soil, water, etc. Major environmental issues that are occurring due to the deterioration of our earth is climate change, pollution, overpollution, resource depletion, and land degradation. Each of these issues are interrelated to each other. For example, due to overpopulation, there is resource depletion, and not using resources in a careful or in a sustainable manner causes pollution, which further causes climatic change. And this slide gives a brief about what is environmental education. Environmental education is a process by which people develop awareness, concern, and knowledge of the environment and learn to use this knowledge to preserve, conserve, and utilize the environment in a more sustainable manner. Here are some benefits of environmental education. Environmental education promotes healthy lifestyles, teaches people to be responsible, instills respect for nature. We can spread this awareness by two methods. One is formal, another is informal method. In formal method, we can introduce this environmental education as a subject in schools and colleges. And in informal methods, we can perform public lectures, exhibitions, and can arrange online conference in this time of crisis. Here are some good habits that we can adapt to restore our earth. We should establish 3 R's, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle. Use cycle instead of vehicles. Encourage children to switch off the lights and fans when it's of no use. Use of jute bags. Here are some dates related to nature. At UNESCO conference in San Francisco in 1969, John McClellan proposed a day to honor the earth. That is 22nd April, World Earth Day. And at last, I want to conclude with a phrase Chinese say about the need to educate. If you plan for a year, plant rice. If you plan for the years, plant trees. But if you plan for a century, educate the people. Education helps people to think more wisely. So we have to make sure that this awareness gets spread to every nook and corner of our earth. Thank you.
I have one question for you. Thank you for your nice presentation. What do you understand by overexploitation of resources?
Every day we have to use resources in a sustainable manner, not like that we need this thing. It's not like that. We have to use resources that we really need.
In a more specific way, do you think that this is one of the important aspects for this today's problem?
Yes, ma'am. And I think, for example, if we take water, in some places of our country, some people do not get water, but some part of our country gets huge amount of that supply.
So, complete it.
So we have to make it precise.
Okay.
We also have another question, I think for Mrinalini from Shubhrajyoti Das. The question is, I think most the environmental issues are by the so-called educated people of the society. What's your opinion in this? He's asking your opinion.
My opinion is to, at first, we should educate the people. We should make them concerned about what is environment and why we need to restore our earth. Without knowing anything about restoration, we cannot proceed in a better way.
Okay. Any more questions? Anyone more? Okay, I think we'll go to our next speaker, the next participant. Our next participant is Trijita Mishra. She is also from the Department of Microbiology, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College. Trijita.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, are the slides visible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I'm Trijita Mishra from 6M Microbiology Department. Today, I sincerely appreciate that I have had this opportunity to present my findings on the topic Restore Our Earth. But before getting into any further, at first we have to understand the importance of saving the earth. I have rounded up a few of the reasons, which are Earth is the only planet that supports life. So it's highly important to take measures to save the earth. Because of biodiversity, we all are able to coexist together. Negative human forces can disrupt the biodiversity, which can result in its loss. So we need to take ample steps to prevent the damage. Earth provides us with food and water to sustain life. So it is our responsibility to prevent it from getting destroyed. These are the problems that we are currently facing, which we need to fix immediately. The first picture is of global warming. Our planet is warming. Carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases released by our relentless burning of fossil fuels and deforestation are trapping more heat. Second is overfishing. Fish are a principal renewable resource. Yet even renewable resources have their limits. So when hunted too rapidly, fish population can collapse with disastrous impact for both fish species and human. The third one is deforestation. The most obvious way to grow more food is to turn more land over to the task. But that runs hard into ecological problem, which is deforestation. Fourth is a picture of climate change, which can cause a rising in the sea level, record hottest summer, drought, flood, unexpected rainfalls. Next is lack of water. Water is abundant on our planet, yet the rate at which we consume the water exceeds the rate at which we can capture it from the rain or from sustainable withdrawals. Lastly, food production has affected the environment more than any other activity humans have engaged in. The food production rate need to increase in order to fulfill the global hunger rate. Our vision for restoration is a three-step process. First, to mitigate our emission and stop making the climate crisis any worse than it already is. This involves switching to renewable energy, changing our food production and transport system. Let's see how renewable energy helps us to restore the earth. Solar power is generated directly from sun. Solar photovoltaic cells use the sun's energy to convert into electrical energy. Wind energy. When the wind blows, the blade moves and spins a turbine connected to a generator which produces electricity. Then comes hydropower. When electricity is needed, water is let out through the pipe where it is reserved and it flows downward under the influence of gravity and turns the turbine and the electricity is generated. Geothermal energy. Water is pumped down into hot rocks through pipes where it is heated. Then this water and steams come back up to the surface. It can be used directly to generate electricity. Biomass energy is derived from organic matter of plants and animals. Some of this is burned to make electricity. We will now look how we can restore the earth by changing our food production. The journey from farm to fork is not quite so simple. It's more like farm to processor to distributor to retailer, with itineraries shaped by private finance, government subsidies, consumer marketing, and a dozen of other factors. Creating a regenerative food system means looking at change across this entire journey. We can change our production method so they can regenerate nature rather than degrade it. And these are some ideas of regenerative food system. This is how changing our transport system can help the earth. Around a third of carbon emission from driving could be avoided if people were able to switch walking and cycling. To reduce vehicle emission, transport system must remain an option into the future. The second step towards restoration is to remove carbon dioxide.
A little fast.
Okay, sir. Rewilding is a progressive approach to conservation. It's about enabling natural processes to shape land and seas. Then next come enhanced natural weathering process. It is a process intended to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere by using specific natural minerals. Up next is enhanced chemical means. The acidic grain that react with the rock and soil, break them into minute grains forming bicarbonate, which washes into ocean where carbon dioxide is stored. Next is reverse climate crisis. It's the action to limit global warming. And the final step is adaptation. These are some process of adapting, which are by building infrastructure like flood defense, coming up with global system to deal with climate crisis, and development of better farming practice. So at the end, we can conclude that everyone in the world depends completely on the Earth's ecosystem and the services they provide, such as food, water, disease management, climate regulation. Over the past 50 years, humans have engaged these ecosystems more rapidly and extensively to meet their rapidly growing demands. So it's the duty of every human being to change their attributes in order to stop or diminish the world's degradation and destruction. I would like to thank all my teachers for encouraging me in all possible ways, and I would like to thank all the members present in the meeting for the interest and attention. These are the slides that I have used to complete the presentation. The end, or it is just a beginning to save the planet and save our life. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have questions in our chat box. I think Professor Bhattacharya has something to say.
Yes, one question, Tridita. It's nice presentations. The first of all, can you tell me that how do you believe that food diversity, maintaining food diversity, actually, if it is maintained properly, it can help to maintain a balance in entire ecosystem?
Yes, ma'am, of course, because due to the overpopulation, the demand for food is also rising. So for that, we have to switch on to regenerative food system, which will sorry, ma'am.
My question is on food diversity. Do you believe that food diversity is better, or that just one simple example that everyone, if wants to have rice as their staple food, whether this would be better? Which option and why?
Food diversity.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you please repeat the question again?
The food diversity. Food diversity.
How it will
talk about the renewable energy. Okay, you talk about the renewable energy. So do you feel that different kind of crop development, different kind of agriculture crop, so that is beneficial, or everyone if wants for a rice as their staple, which one you will favor or you will vote and why? What should be your concept on this?
I will go for the second one, because getting food is more necessary than getting a diverse kind of food.
Whether you talk about the climatic variability, you talk about the climate, you talk about the climate adaptation. So do you feel that in all different climate condition is okay to harbor rice production?
No, it's not.
Do you have any idea that how much water resource is required for rice to grow?
No, I don't know that.
Okay. Just think on this, okay?
Yeah, ma'am.
Your
Sure. Thank you.
every day, your choice, whatever we choose every day, even on our food platter, that has create a market demand, and that has an impact on our nature.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, Professor Bhattacharya. We also have another question from Shubhrajyoti Das. Once again, he's asking about geothermal energy is very costly to execute and maintain. So he's asking you, do you think it will not affect the economical state of the country and its citizens? So is it okay to think it a way to be executed?
Yeah, maybe it could affect the economical state of the country and its citizen, but like it's a way of restoring the earth. That's what I meant to say.
Okay. Shomik Pitro also asks for your opinion. In case of stopping industrial emissions, it would lead to a serious problems like unemployment, demand for products, etc. So we need to find alternative ways, can't depend on recycle. So he is asking your opinion regarding this.
Yeah, that's also a point, but I didn't have thought about this yet.
We have Deepika Angar's comment on the food diversity, and her comment is food diversity is extremely beneficial, of course, because specific staple is not obliged to a specific state or the people to. I think with this we will move to our next speaker. Thank you everyone who has commented or put up a question for Trijita. Our next participant is Megha Margarita David. She is a student of Department of History, Semester 4 of St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College. Megha.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you, ma'am. A very good evening to all. Myself, Megha Margarita David from History Department, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College. I would like to take this opportunity to talk to you about restoration of Earth. The sole purpose of my presentation is let's keep on making efforts to protect our beautiful home. Coming back to our topic, restoration of Earth, we first have to understand what actually restoration is. It is an act of bringing back something to its original form or state. And here we are going to talk about restoration of Earth, which means bringing back our Mother Earth to its original pure state. Well, a question can arise in our minds that why do we need to restore our planet? Well, presently there can be hundreds of reasons, but today I will be discussing a few of them which needs urgent consideration. Now, before discussing, I would just like to say a blind truth. That is, we need the Earth for survival and not the other way around. Planet Earth can regenerate on its own without the help of humans. Well, coming back as to why we need to restore our planet. Firstly, ecosystem degradation. Ecosystem is something which we are surrounded with, and degradation is taking place there only. Ecosystem degradation has emerged as one of the greatest environmental threats around the whole world today. Almost all our ecosystem, be it terrestrial or otherwise, stands degraded at various levels due to three main factors. First, overpopulation. With overpopulation, there will be too much consumption of resources, especially forest resources, because more people will need more land for survival. Second, developmental pressure. Well, we all live in 21st century, and we can see that there is a slow but a steady conversion from rural areas to urban areas. Like villages are being transformed to towns, towns are being transformed to cities, then to metropolitan cities, and so on. And we call this a development. Thus, there are a lot of pressure towards development. Third, overexploitation. Well, we humans, we all know that there is a lot of resources, so why not extract from it as much as we can? Now, here we are sowing a seed of mistake. This one thought of us will and is going to destroy our planet. As a result, ecosystem degradation will have impact on human well-being and economic instability. Now, demands over basic needs is another reason as to why we need to restore our planet. Well, we must remember what M.K. Gandhi once said: Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed. In this context, we all know the fact that humanity's rapacious demand for resources and ecological services in a given year exceeds so much that even planet Earth cannot regenerate that much in the same year. So it is very important to maintain a balance between taking and giving. The last but not the least, pandemics. This is another reason for restoration, which is very much the ongoing situation around the globe. In this context, I would like to ask everyone to have a look on the slide. Here we are going to see a series of pandemic, which occurs every 100 years or so. Taking the present pandemic, COVID-19, it is the red flag pointing to the imbalance of our natural system. It is the sign from the planet. Novel coronavirus was just the beginning. Who would have thought a coronavirus would lead to a cycle of devastating deaths of humans? Earth has already begun to send new shoots of life, reaching high into the blue sky filled with birds of thousand kinds. Finally, the time has come to act, as actions speak and counts. The healthier our ecosystem, the healthier we. Mother Earth is making an urgent call to action. Even small actions will have great impacts. Lastly, people are seeking for another Earth. So here is the choice. Do we want to choose another Earth, or do we want to make our Earth a better place to live? Any queries from the audience?
Any questions? So there is one question from Pronil Dash. What did you think about restoration of Earth in industrial urban areas?
In industrial urban areas, like we can restore a lot of stuffs in urban areas. Like urban areas day to day is getting cleared away. The forest lands are completely getting cleared away. The woods are being for market purposes, then a lot of things. So we should keep in mind that, okay, we have other works also, but we should not clear away forest for urbanization. We should not do that. We should keep trees because it is very important source of survival.
Anyone from the audience? Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Megha. It was a very nice presentation.
I have one question to Megha that I wrote in the chat box. That is the crop for food, feed, or fuel. What is your opinion?
Ma'am, I don't know. I don't have enough knowledge in this context. I would like if you give me some.
Do you have any idea that crop used for fuel?
No, ma'am. I don't have any idea.
Have you heard the word biofuel?
Yes, ma'am. I have heard, but I don't know much about it.
Okay, please go through it. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Sure. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So our next participant for today's evening is Snigdha Shaha. Snigdha is student of Department of History, Department of Chemistry, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College. Snigdha.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
A very good evening to all of the members and my sirs and madams. My name is Snigdha Shaha. I am a student of Chemistry Department of St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College. Now I am going to present a short presentation on restoring our earth. Restoring our earth, it is not a luxury but a necessity. Earth Day 2021, from a broken world, we need to restore earth. It has been 51 long years since Earth Day was first celebrated in US on April 22, 1970, a time of great social and environmental activism. Now the pandemic COVID-19 that nearly every country is still dealing with is a harrowing reminder of how badly damaged the world's ecosystem are. Biodiversity loss is an important cause of emerging infectious disease and poses many risks to society. So there is only one way to bring back equilibrium in nature. We have to restore what our ecosystem as well as the whole world lost. That's why the theme of Earth Day 2021, marked on 22 April, is Restoring Our Earth. It is a global call to take concerted action and find better solutions to restore our planet. Besides this pandemic disease, the earth is facing many other biggest problems like number one, global warming, which is an aspect of climate change, is referring to the long-term rise of planet's temperatures. Number two, the environmental degradation. The major causes of it are modern urbanization, industrialization, overpopulation growth, and deforestation, etc. The world has already lost 80% of its forests, and we are continually losing them at a rate of 375 kilometers square per day. Every year, we extract an estimated 55 billion tons of natural resources like fossil energy, minerals, and metals, etc. Due to deforestation, many species are in endangered condition. The climate change, excessive uses, and pollutions are the responsible for crop failure and depletion of water, etc. In the most cases, the harmful pollutants are created by human activities for industrialization, which contributes to negative externalities such as environmental pollution. So now we have to take some initiatives. As much as possible, we should reduce, reuse, and recycle the waste. Cut down the use of herbicides and pesticides in agricultural field. We must conserve the water and plant the trees. Planting trees vastly improves the quality of our natural surrounding. Earth Day 2021 has 5 primary programs. Number 1 is the Canopy Project. It improves our shared environment by planting trees across the globe. Number 2 is Food and Environment Program. To build a food system that provides affordable, healthy food for all, builds diverse, sustainable farm ecosystem, and is fair to farmers, workers, and eaters. Number 3, Climate literacy. It is an understanding of your influence on climate and climate's influence on you and society. Number 4 is the Global Earth Challenge. It is the world's largest ever coordinated citizen science campaign. The initiative works to integrate existing citizen science projects as well as build the capacity for new ones, all as part of a larger effort to grow citizen science worldwide. And the last, number 5, is the Great Global Cleanup. It is a worldwide campaign to remove billions of pieces of trash from everywhere, reducing waste and plastic pollution. At the end of it all, we must protect our ecosystem because without protecting and taking care of our environment, many lives are endangered. And the climate change may be driving the entire planet to dangerous global tipping point. which is significant and often unstoppable effect. Thank you. Make every day Earth Day and make a better tomorrow for our Earth. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizing authority for arranging this webinar and my teachers for giving me the opportunity to present this topic. Thank you.
Thank you, Snigdha. We think we have a couple of questions for you. Dr. Mondol, he has a question as well. Professor Dr. Bhattacharya also has a question. So, shall I read out the questions or you will ask? Okay, let me ask you. Dr. Bhattacharya wants to ask you, Snigdha, what is climate justice?
Sorry, ma'am, I have no enough idea on this.
And Dr. Kumar Mondol asked a question. His question is, what are the gases responsible for global warming?
There are many gases like carbon dioxide, nitrous oxide, and sulfur dioxide, etc.
Okay. And Orkonkar wrote a question in the chat box. What is global tipping point? Snigdha? Are you going to answer? Are you going to answer the question?
No, ma'am, I have not enough idea on that.
Snigdha, in your presentation, you write the term is a global tipping point. So at least this you have to answer. What is global tipping point? You have mentioned that this global tipping point regarding this.
Okay. Global tipping point is an irreversible change in the climate system, and if the Earth is going
Moushumi madam, we may, yes, please proceed to the next speaker.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Snigdha. Our next participant today is Shagota Das. Shagota is student of Department of Microbiology, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College. Shagota.
Thank you, ma'am, for introducing me. Ma'am, is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Good evening. A very warm welcome to everyone attending this webinar contest. Today, we all have gathered here on the occasion of Earth Day. I am Shagota Das, student of 6th semester Microbiology Department of St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, and today my talk is particularly on the topic Restoring Our Earth's Sustainable Urban Development. We all are very familiar with the term sustainability or sustainable development. Human needs are an integral part of sustainability issues. Sustainability, the most widely used term,
Sustainable development is defined as the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their needs. However, sustainable urban development is a process by which sustainability can be attained by emphasizing improvement, progress, and positive changes in our surrounding environment. Population growth and urbanization is one of the major challenges we are facing nowadays that is leading to an increased impact or stress on the environment. Traditionally, sustainable development initiatives have focused on ecological sustainability with their main emphasis being on how not to destroy the biospheres for future generations. Next, coming to the goals of sustainable urban development. They comprise of three dimensions, including the environmental protection, economic viability, and social equity. These are the three pillars of sustainability. Environmental dimension. Assessing the environmental dimension is often neglected due to the lack of awareness among us. The environmental dimension needs to receive further more attention as it may provide specific insights on the short and long-term effects of climate change, limited consumption of non-renewable resources, and reducing the energy consumption. Also, we should look into reducing the carbon footprint, creating a much better environment for work, and also improving the air and water quality of surrounding community. Next is the economic dimension. Economic sustainability refers to practices that support long-term economic growth without negatively impacting social, environmental, and cultural aspects of the community. Education and skill development are essential to the economic health of individuals and of nations. A healthy, educated workforce with appropriate skills, including reliable infrastructure such as proper water supply, transportation, waste management, etc., should also be assured. Coming to the next, social aspects, which is concerned primarily with poverty reduction, social investment, and building of safe and caring communities, prohibiting discrimination and assuring gender equality, and providing fair and equitable provision of services in all the sectors. Ways by which we can make cities more sustainable and resilient. Cities are our future. Together, cities already consume 80% of global material and energy resources and produce 75% of all carbon emissions. The high concentration of people and infrastructure make them vulnerable to disasters and climate change like rise in sea levels, high temperatures, etc. Now, at this point, sustainability is the only key. The concept of sustainable development implies that all the individuals and sectors have a responsibility to promote human well-being. The main focus of the sustainable city is lifting citizens out of poverty and providing them with great place to live, work, and play. Urban transport systems should be more sustainable by increasing public transportation, enhancing electrical vehicle infrastructure, developing alternate fuel vehicles that are less polluting and eco-friendly. Smart technologies should also be implemented to improve the efficiency of infrastructure and to provide citizens with better services. Next, coming to the challenges of sustainable development. Urban environments traditionally suffer from the main physical environmental problems, also economic problems as well. The main challenges are global in character, including the poverty and extinction, unemployment being one of the main issues, increasing pollution and climate change, globalization, increasing pressure on environment due to rapid urban growth and deforestation. Now, how can we overcome these challenges? Fast-growing developing world cities are struggling to meet infrastructural needs. We should be focused on encouraging the production of sustainable technology. Climate change mitigation involving the reduction of human emissions of greenhouse gases to the atmosphere, reduce the amount of energy and resources used through improving the efficiency of systems, recycling of wastes to conserve natural resources, increasing the forest cover to reduce the amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere and save the habitat. Last but not the least, I would like to say that the nature is suffering. We need to shift to a more sustainable economy that works for both the people and the planet. We need to keep in mind that a healthy planet is not an option, it's an absolute necessity, and it's our sole responsibility to save the Mother Earth because it's the only home we have.
That's all for today. I'll end my presentation here. I would sincerely like to thank all the teachers as well as the other non-teaching staffs for giving me this opportunity today. List of some of the links from where I collected the above information. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharuta. You have a question from Professor Dr. Upita Bhattacharya. Ma'am, shall I make the questions or will you ask her directly?
No, you can ask the question. No problem.
Sharuta, ma'am is asking you, what is Sustainability Index? And what was India's rank in 2020? What is E85 fuel?
I don't have much information. Sorry.
At least you say something about Sustainability Index. Yeah, your entire lecture was on sustainability development. So how it is measured? What should be its criteria?
I don't know.
But your entire talk was on sustainable development. That's why I have asked the specific questions. Okay.
Okay. Arpun, he placed a question. What do you mean by smart technology? Kagota, you want
Yes,
to
ma'am.
answer the question? What do you mean by smart technology?
No, ma'am, I can't answer it.
Okay. Then we'll move on to our next participant. Our next participant is from St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College. She is a student of semester 4, Ehtesham Parveen. Ehtesham Parveen.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Okay, I'll first present my presentation. Is my presentation visible?
No, we can't. You have to share it.
Is my presentation visible now?
Yes, now.
Yes, we can.
So, good evening, everyone present here. I am Ehtesham Parveen from St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, here to present few acknowledgements regarding Earth Day on the topic Restoring Our Earth by a PowerPoint presentation. So, as we already know why we all have gathered here in this webinar, I would like to start with a question, that is, how do we create a...
Dear students, can you please raise your voice? Can you raise your voice?
Yes, sir. So I would like to start with a question, that is, how do we create a future in which both people, their humanity and nature can thrive? This is the biggest question of our times. In the next few decades, we need to do something unprecedented to achieve a sustainable existence on Earth, because there is no planet B. But how do we do it? So we can do that by restoring our Earth. That is a solution. First, we can start by understanding how we got to this point. 20,000 years ago, humankind lived within the resources to balance with nature. the strategy that could theoretically last forever, but it wasn't an easy life. So we, the humans, used our unique minds to challenge that reality. Now we have changed the earth so profoundly that we have entered a new phase of existence, that is Anthropocene age, that is the scale of human impact on earth. The planet is ours. There's just one problem, that is we are totally out of balance. We are in a critical moment in Earth's history, so we must join together to bring forth a sustainable global society founded on respect for nature, universal human rights, economic justice, and a culture of peace. So there are few things we can do to restore our earth. I just won't talk about growing up trees or stopping them from getting destroyed. There are other things as well. My first point would be respect earth and life in all its diversity. Respecting nature for the sake of human well-being is important, but it's not the only reason. We must respect all life forms, not as means to a human ends, but because they are inherently deserving of respect. My second point would be secure Earth's bounty and beauty of present and future generations. To understand that securing our presence now will secure the future generations as well. Third point, we need to protect and restore the integrity of Earth's ecological systems with social concern, with special concern for biological diversity and the natural processes that sustain life. We need to protect and restore the Earth's ecological systems, to protect Earth's life support systems, maintain biodiversity, and preserve our natural heritage. My last point, but not the least, uphold the right of all without discrimination. This is the most important points of all to understand according to the situations going on all around the world, that we need to uphold rights of all without discrimination to maintain peace and humanity in the process of restoring the world. These are few things that needs to be restore our authenticity. The waiting of a new reverence for life. In conclusion with that, the fact of the matter is that we need the earth to survive, not the other way around. Let's do our part of role in this. As a result, it is important to emphasize that though we celebrate one calendar day as Earth Day, it is in fact more of a movement to celebrate our planet. It is not a sprint, it is a marathon. Just like a mother-daughter duo who pledged their allegiance to the ideas behind Earth Day, we must do too. The way forward to restore and save planet Earth, heal the world, and make it better. Thank you.
Thank you, Etesham.
Thank you.
Question? As there is no question in the chat box, Poland, do you have something? Do you want to ask something?
Hello, Professor Mukhopadhyay. There is a question for Parveen at the chat box.
Okay.
Please go through.
There is.
Deepika asked a question to Parveen.
Right. Deepika, and she has asked you a question, Parveen. If you are the earth, what would be your one foremost suggestion to heal yourself? A nice, interesting question.
Ma'am, according to me, if I were the earth, I would firstly want peace and humanity on earth. If there stays peace and humanity, there stays the destruction of nature. If there's no humanity, there'll be destruction and destruction everywhere. So firstly, I would like to suggest that the earth can heal itself by bringing up humanity in their culture, in the society.
Deepika, do you want to ask any more questions or? And okay, no more questions. So we'll proceed to the next presentation. Our next participant is Shavnik Chatterjee. He's a student in the Department of Physics, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College. Shavnik.
Thank you, ma'am, for the kind introduction. So, as most of the speakers before me focused on a particular aspect, that's global warming, my talk today will particularly focus on a possible solution to that. And okay, and the topic of my talk is carbon capture. So, yes. So I'll be talking about carbon capture, which is essentially a method of capturing carbon dioxide after it is released from the chimneys and storing it in a particular facility so that it can be harnessed or used for other industrial methods rather than just dumping it into the atmosphere, thereby causing global warming. So let us look at the problems. As we know, most of the power plants use coal as a source of fuel. And due to this, if we consider the total amount of pollution caused by emissions, the coal-driven emission is about 40%. And this is a particular graph that actually represents from 1990 to 2015, the amount of pollution or the amount of carbon dioxide emissions via different sources, of which coal takes a major part. So United States from 1990 to 2015 have been majorly driven by coal to power stations, to generate electricity, and for other miscellaneous purposes. In fact, India is also coal dependent. As you can see in the charts side, India's dependency on coal is staggering as compared to its counterparts like hydroelectricity or wind energy or solar energy or other natural resources. So coal actually contributes to a major portion of India's well-being, if I may say. But this comes with a price. And since 1880 till today, there has been a staggering rise in the global temperature level. And unfortunately, currently we are like 1 degree above the temperature level that was measured between 1951 to 1980. So this is the result of all those coal-driven activities that we have been doing for so long. So what are the solutions? I'll just quickly go through the solutions one by one, point-wise. So one solution can be switching to a low carbon emission fuel. Like most of the vehicles now have been replaced by electric vehicles and LPG fuel. So that is one possible solution. Next solution can be combined use of heat and power. Now this particular solution is applicable for factories where we can use thermal energy explicitly using coal and depending on it. Yeah, it's a good alternative to coal. The next is we can use efficiently and recycle materials. As someone mentioned in their presentation, the 3 R's, reduce, reuse, and recycle, if I'm not wrong. So that is one thing we can adapt. And final, actually the point on which my presentation is actually on, it's about carbon capture and storage. So this particular method can be used by factories or can be used at facilities which cannot afford the low emission fuels or the other three factors. So carbon capture and storage, actually, this particular thing, the carbon capture, can be done in two phases. The first phase being the pre-combustion capture, which means before the gases combine and produce electricity, produce power, we can actually separate the carbon. And it is essentially separating hydrogen and carbon dioxide from the steam, which is about to generate power. So this is the pre-combustion capture in short. Next, what we can do is the post-combustion capture, which is essentially separating the CO2 from the steam, which is produced after the power is generated. So this is basically collecting CO2 and separating it before it is released into the atmosphere. So this is the two methods by which we can actually capture carbon dioxide. The Center for Climate and Energy Solutions actually pointed out some really great points. The first point being the carbon capture technologies can actually, if applied in an efficient way, can actually capture 90% of the carbon dioxide emissions from the coal-driven power plants and industries. Next, this captured carbon dioxide can actually be used in productive processes. Like it is actually currently ongoing in India, in a state near Tamil Nadu. So there they are actually capturing carbon dioxide and using it to make baking soda. So that is one thing we can use. So it's more like of a recycle. Next is it's a good news that 26 commercial scale carbon capture projects are officially operating all over the world, and there are 21 more in development and 13 are in advanced development. So this is how actually the carbon capture technology is emerging. If it is viable and if we can achieve that goal, carbon capture can actually achieve the 14% of global greenhouse gas emission reductions, and this can be achieved by 2050 if we consider carbon capture as the only viable way. About India, as I mentioned, that a small-scale carbon capture and storage plant is operational in Tamil Nadu in the city of Thoothukudi, and it's actually capturing carbon dioxide from its factory, and it's using it to convert it into baking soda, which can be used in households. By the end of 4 to 5 years, it will lock up about 60 tons of CO2. So it is currently projecting about 60 tons of CO2 per year, but if we use it efficiently, the maximum it can do is it can capture about 60,000 tons of CO2 a year. Even the government of India is focusing on this. So this is a particular extract from an article from Down to Earth. So it says that India's DST, Department of Science and Technology, have actually funded a research on the carbon dioxide storage. And this belongs to the CCS Technologies Initiative, for which India has committed about 1 million euros to support the Indian participants. So it's a collaborative project, and every country is taking part, of which India is a pioneer. So there are a few challenges while we consider this as an option. So the first challenge is there is almost little or no way of assuring that the carbon that we store underground will remain there forever. It can leak, and if it leaks, it is very possible that it will contaminate the groundwater supplies, which is again harmful for humans. Next is a very serious threat, like when we are transporting materials to the underground facility, this can actually trigger earthquakes, and that is another challenge that we have to work on. But as of now, the carbon capture and storage technology seems the viable way to actually combat global warming and to reduce carbon dioxide emissions into the atmosphere. So thank you. That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Shavnik. Very nice presentation.
Thank you, ma'am.
Preetha ma'am, have one question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
What is carbon trading? And second question is, biofuel environmental friendly or not?
Okay. About carbon trading, I have little or no idea about that. About biofuel, is it environmental friendly or not? Actually, biofuel, if we look at from one point of view, it is actually recycling the materials. So as of my opinion, I think it's environmental friendly because we are recycling the materials and gaining the most from those particular set of materials. So I think it's bio-friendly.
Shagnik, do you have idea how many kind of biofuels are there? Different
Ma'am,
generations of biofuel?
I have very little idea, ma'am. I'm sorry about that, but
There's a plant source, right? The fuel is converting from the plant source. That's the basic thing of biofuel.
Right.
So whether it's carbon capturing or it's releasing again to the environment.
Actually, if we consider plants, it's actually capturing CO2 from the atmosphere for the photosynthesis process. So yeah, like it's a viable way. I think so.
So when it will convert to biofuel, then
Yeah.
it will release carbon dioxide or not?
When it will be converted, yes, ma'am, it will contribute, but it will be lesser compared to that of coal-driven activities.
Whether it is equivalent in energy, the energy that it produced from the biofuel, whether it is sufficient, do you have any idea?
Ma'am, again, I have very little idea, but I think the efficiency is less than that of the fossil fuel-driven technologies.
So just please go through this, because
Sure, ma'am.
E85 and these are the things that you should know, because you talk about the carbon capture, so
Right.
you must have some idea about carbon credit. Okay, so what is India's present condition regarding this carbon credit, carbon sale? So just go through this. Okay.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much.
Moshe, can I have a question, please?
Yes, yes, sure. Sure.
I wanted to know about this carbon capture through another technology, through another industrialization, whether it produces baking soda or not. That itself is another industry, would probably also cause more carbon to be put into the atmosphere. What about carbon sequestration? Carbon trapping by natural sources? You have never said anything about that.
Right.
And that would contribute much more to the restoration of the earth. And if you probably plant about 60,000 hectares of mangroves in Sundarbans, the carbon capture there would be much more than what you're talking about Tamil Nadu or the DST producing funds for making another baking soda factory.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Actually, the motive of presenting this particular topic as carbon capture, it's an emerging topic in the US. So, like, it's more viable.
It's not only in the US. Here in India, we have projects where carbon credits are given. And carbon credits given because of plantation of trees, which is a win-win situation on both sides. And that is how carbon sequestration has taken place. There are a number of papers in India, kindly look at that. And there are a number of our own studies in West Bengal. Kindly refer to it. I know you're a physics student and you would rather talk about technologies rather than a carbon by its natural way goes back into the system.
Right,
And that is sequestration and carbon capture by natural means. Kindly look at that. It will be much more, because if you're interested in this topic, I'm just leading you into various other avenues of that.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I'll definitely go through that.
Thank you, sir. It was very good of you, and Shaming will definitely it will help him, both by Professor Studies and yours. Resources will help you definitely.
Yes.
So, as we don't have much time left, we are running late. So I would ask Shaknik if you can please answer the questions put to you in the chat box there. Okay. So then we can move to our next participant.
Ma'am, shall I answer it like on call, or shall I type the answers in the chat box?
If you can answer it in the chat box, and later on after the end of the presentations, if we get time, then we can also get another round of discussions.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
At that time.
Okay.
Thank you. Our next participant is Priyam Jain. Priyam Jain, a student of Department of Political Science.
Professor Mukhopadhyay, I think you skip
right. Our next presentation.
Simran is waiting for.
Right. Our next participant is Simran Mishra. She is a student, Department of History from Bhawanipur Educational Society College, Kolkata. Simran, welcome, Simran. Simran, are you there? Simran?
Okay, Professor Mukhopadhyay, please proceed. I think Simran has got disconnected.
She is in the meeting, but
Yes. She was in the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, then Simran Mishra is here.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you for introducing me, ma'am. First of all, I want to say that I wouldn't be saying anything because my presentation is containing background music. So yes, I hope you all enjoy it. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are presenting now.
Yes.
Thank you, Simran. I think we move to the next presentation. Our next participant is Priyam Jain, student, Department of Political Science, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, is my presentation visible?
Yes.
Hmm. Thank you so much, ma'am. Respected teachers, respective authorities and students, and my dear friends. Myself, Priyam Jain, a student from the Department of Political Science. Now, today's our theme is restoring our Earth. Now, our Earth. Our Earth is the only planet that has life. Our Earth is only habitable planet. It is also called a blue planet. Our Earth consists of three layers: lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. All all are related to each other and together make up a biosphere which has lives. Now, causes of Earth destruction. There are two major causes of Earth destruction. There are one man-made causes and the other natural causes. The man-made causes includes deforestation, hunting, poaching, and mining. Now, the deforestation. What are the effects of deforestation? Reckless cutting of trees leads to number one, loss of biodiversity, food insecurity, soil erosion, climate change, and floods. Now, hunting and poaching. Reckless hunting of poaching and hunting leads to extinction and endangered species. There, which includes toto, dinosaur. Now there are some endangered species like tiger, lion, rhinoceros, etc. Now, mining. Reckless mining in search of gold, mineral resources, etc. leads to landslides in the mountains, soil erosion, sinkholes, and land degradation and earthquakes. Now, natural causes includes earthquake, droughts, and floods. Earthquakes, shaking of the Earth's crust, leads to loss of life and property, pipelines, electric poles, roads, bridges, and landslides. Now, droughts. Droughts leads to water scarcity, food insecurity, economic loss. It can even lead to death, loss of lives due to hunger, heat stroke. Now, flood. Flood causes loss of life and property, damage to house and sewage system, and contamination of water. Flood also causes waterborne diseases which affects mostly children, like malaria, jaundice. Now, global warming. Now, what is global warming? Gradual rise in the temperature near the Earth's atmosphere is called global warming. Now, causes includes man-made causes and natural causes. And one of the major causes of global warming is the ozone depletion. Gases like methane, carbon dioxide, CO2, CFCs from the man-made activities goes to Earth and make holes in the Earth's atmosphere, due to which the harmful ultraviolet rays from the sun enters our Earth and destroy our Earth. Now, effects of global warming includes rising temperature, melting of ice and glacier, and climate change. Now, what if we continue to practice such illegal even in today? Then the result would be like this. Now, today the Earth is looking like this, and the Earth in 2050 would be like this. Maybe if we don't care about our Earth. Now, the next slide is to what are the ways to restore our Earth. Now, the first and the foremost step to save our Earth is to practice this mantra, which includes 3 Rs: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Reduce means to minimize the amount of waste we create. Reuse means reuse refers to using items more than once. Recycle means putting a product into a new instead of throwing away. That means we should use our books. Instead of buying a new one, we should share our books. Now, restoring our planet starts with you. It starts from within ourselves. Now, the number one. Now, follow 3 Rs.
Little faster, please. Little faster, please.
Rainwater harvesting. Practice rainwater harvesting to save water. switch to LEDs, has it shop wisely, always carry and use paper coating instead of plastic bags. Now install solar panels for clean and safe energy, which includes eco-friendly. It does not cause pollution. It is cheap as well. Now try to make compost and green manure at home using home waste and give up plastic. Now there are various organizations which involve in saving planet, such as WWF, National Resource Defense Council, and Earth First. Thank you so much, and I am so grateful to be a part of this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Priyam.
Welcome.
Abhishek, now you please take on.
Sure, madam. Priyam, for you, there is a question from Pritha madam that other hours are refuse and rethink. Give one example. Waste to resource. Can you give one examples of waste to resource?
Priyam, you said
you said
3 hours.
3 hours.
There are two other
There are
hours,
two
but
other
the
hours.
refuse and rethink. And I asked you one question regarding waste to resource. Any example you know?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, we can use plastic bottles to fill our pickles, or we can use plant our in pickle in bottles.
In commercial level. These are the domestic thing that you have mentioned, that any waste thing, that the plastic bottles that you told that you can use in the gardening or something like that. Any other commercial level things that has been used, waste to resource? Anything with regard to fuel? Can you say something?
Ma'am, I am not aware of this topic.
Okay, any other questions? If not, then we'll move on to our next participants. She is Neha Dash from Food and Nutrition Department, Panihati Mahavidyalaya. Neha, please continue. Neha, you here? Priyam, please stop presenting yourself. Okay. Now you can start now.
Okay, sir. Thank you for this competition. I would like to start my presentation on the topic of restoration of our art. Sorry, sir, there is some problem. Please take me time.
We cannot hear the speaker. Neha, we cannot hear you. Hello, Abhishek.
Yeah, yes, madam. Yes, Neha.
Is Neha presenting
Neha
only the
presenting only
slides?
the slides? Are you presenting only the slides or?
Yes, sir. I am not
I'm
hearing.
not hearing. Okay, please restart your phone. We'll move to our next presenter. Then we'll come back. Then we'll come back to you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sorry, our next presenter is from Department of Microbiology, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, Ayantrisha Bishwas. Ayantrisha, please start your presentation. Ayantrisha, you here? Am I audible? Yes, yes. Please start.
Hello everyone. Let me start by telling you a little bit about my background. I am Ajisha Biswas, pursuing my graduation in microbiology from St. Paul's
Ayantrisha, please
Cathedral
adjust your mic.
Mission College.
Please adjust your mic. We can't hear you.
Today, we are talking about how to restore our Earth. There are too many points to cover, but there is one thing that strikes my mind, and that's about the ozone layer. And interestingly, NASA focused to protect this layer from depletion since ages. I'm with 10 points. First of all, I will talk about the purpose as it becomes a widespread concern to review the technologies to protect this vanishing layer. Second, we will look at the problem behind the depletion caused by CFCs, HCFCs, and the depletion can affect DNA, skin productivity, etc. And finally, I will explain you the methods also with the research evidence and results. I will like to begin by showing you short details on ozone layer, which is not really a layer, it is the scattered ozone particles in stratosphere, and it can be damaged by CFCs, halogenated compounds. This protects our Earth from harmful UV rays. Now let's move on to ozone hole. This describes the ozone depletion as a hole already discovered in Antarctica, and this caused only when below 200 Dobson unit hours, as this graph clearly shows the variation here. That leads me to the next ozone. So what is it? Basically, it is the gradual thinning of the layer because of halons, and most interestingly, can you imagine that one chlorine can destroy one molecule of ozone? And now I would like to look at the measuring of depletion, where Dobson unit covers the amount and NASA monitors ozone from space using microwave limb sounder, as you can see the picture here. Now, what is the evidence of it? So take a look at this graph that clearly shows the variation of thickness, where depletion theory involves cosmic rays on this. Now I would like to focus at the recovery point, where the depleting substances expected gradually disappear within 21st century. So this really get appreciated for the global emission. In this video, you can look at how much ozone depletion is going on at the same time, because ozone levels can vary for a lot of different reasons, mostly temperature. If it is warm, there is less depletion, and if hot, there is more, as I explained. And now that leads me to the next topic, the causes of the depletion, and they are chlorofluorocarbons, unregulated rocket launches, and nitrogenous compounds. Let me expand on CFCs. They are non-toxic, non-flammable, and non-carcinogenic. And you will be quite surprised to know that the number of it increases through the major usage of refrigerator, AC, cleaner, etc. Second, I will talk about the unregulated rocket launches. As I have mentioned before, a signal radical condense 1 lakh ozone molecules, and these are emitted by rockets. And that leads me to the next topic, the effects of heat. This affects human health, plant productivity, aquatic ecosystems, biogeochemical cycles, air quality, etc. Now let's move on to what mitigation what we should take. We have to avoid using pesticides, minimize vehicles using, must use eco-friendly cleaning products. Next, I would like to talk about the international actions taken. Montreal Protocol, as I explained, Australian chlorofluorocarbon management strategy, environment protection, ozone protection, etc. Now let me expand on this point. Montreal Protocol was established in Vienna Convention in 1985. It marked the discovery of the whole and phased down the ODC. In this picture, you can see the success of this protocol. And that leads me to the next topic, which shows the evidence that the largest ozone hole healed itself and closed. According to the scientists, this closure is not due to the reduced pollution due to COVID-19 lockdown. It is because of the polar vortex. So I intend to conclude everything I said. We looked at 3 main points. First, I showed you the concern of the review. Then we looked at the lessons and damage. Finally, I explained the measured evidence and results. And we should look about the development of inward technology. So that covers everything I want to say about. Here is a list of references that help me to gather best information. And at the end of my presentation, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening.
Okay. Thank you, Antrisha. It was a nice presentation. So now, any questions? Any questions towards Antrisha? Anyone? Does anyone have any questions for Antrisha? Okay. Neha, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Okay. You can try. I can try now.
So my presentation is about on the restoring our art, and I make a short and non-audible presentation, and we like to start. So my topic is look upon the restoring our art. So it is our art. As earlier, Dr. Ashok Kranti Krishanal said, art is our mother. And we are her own children, but we not take care of her as he secure us and give us life and nourish us. But we do some wrong things with the mother earth. We all are know this picture.
Neha, I think we missed the audio. Okay. We can't hear you.
Yes, sir. It is a non-audible presentation. so not anyone can hear it.
Okay, please continue. Please continue. Okay, if anyone had any questions regarding these presentations, it will be open for you. If anyone had anything. Okay, I think there will be no more questions. So with this, we come to the end of our presentations. Now we'll wait for the decisions for our from our judges, and we'll wait for some times for it. So I will open these sessions for any further discussions about our 14 presentations. If anyone have
hello,
Abhishek. Yes, sir.
Please provide everything to Antarix. He will present
Antarix. Okay. Antarix, if you want.
Yes, I'm.
Okay. We are compiling the results. In the meantime, our students Antarix Venkataraman presenting something beautiful to you. Thank you, Antariksh, for that nice presentations.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, the link is active. I provide the feedback link onto the chat
Um,
box. You can fill this.
Professor Abhishek,
Yes, sir.
please give me 2-3
Please give me
minutes.
2-3 minutes. Sure, sir. Sure, sir. The feedback link is active into our chat box. You can fill it now. We'll wait for another 2 to 3 minutes to compile our results. So please stay with us.
Dr. Pitha ma'am, Dr. Bhattacharya, can you hear me?
Yes.
So I request you to please share a few words regarding this seminar.
Oh, first of all, I must say that the presentations were excellent by all the students. They have attempted their best, and I feel very happy with all their presentations, their way, because this is that this is not only a subject that daily life we are going through this. We have to understand the things that what we should go, and I must emphasize that we should not be a part of the problem, because if we want to exist, then we have to think for the solutions. We will have to be the part of the solutions, and many of the students are nicely mentioned that planting trees, that not to waste water whenever they're using daily activities. They must think for definitely travel only by the car when absolutely it's needed. Rather, the rest of the time, definitely we will promote there's a walking or cycling, because these are also the lifestyle things. And I must add that we must know that the obesity, these are the things that the lifestyle disorders, and you have also seen for the COVID that those people who have more comorbidities, they are succumb to this fatal outcome. So a lot of things that we are inviting the diseases, because we are detaching ourselves from the environment. So restoration, it's we talk about, and many of the students had mentioned that Earth Day, it's not only the one day to celebrate, it's our daily day. It should be the Earth Day. If only we believe in this, first we have to believe in ourselves, and we must believe in ourselves, think that it's not any age matters. You have just I want to emphasize the students that the activities of Greta Thunberg, definitely you have heard about her activities. You must have gone through their videos, and you have must seen that how much passionate they are. She is fighting for the young generations. That definitely why we are talking about this sustainability. If there is no action, so it should not be in our planning. It should be in action, and we should demand that whatever things are going on, if something is not happening correctly, if the policies are not taken properly, we should raise our voice. So First of all, you have to love your art, you have to love your place, you have to love your surroundings. Then only you will care for the ecosystem. It's not only a day to celebrate, it's not only any artificial thing. Live in the nature, feel it, then only we can make the thing success. Then only the sustainability will come all in true. So just don't go all by these words, or don't think that these are the jargons. Make this in your life, feel it, and act accordingly. That should be my message to all of to these loving students. They are very, very active. They have tried to present their work very nicely, and I'm really very happy to being a part of this beautiful evening and your nature club activities. I wish all all the best wishes to all these nature club activities. You must go on and you must think, explore the subject, love the subject, and do your best.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your enlightening comments. Dr. Alfred, do you hear me? Dr. Alfred sir, am I audible to you? Okay. Professor Kanjilal, am I audible to you?
Yes, yes, yes.
Can you please, sir, share a few words about our students' performance?
It is definitely a very nice program, and what I feel that the students, they have made very nice presentation, and actually it is not a day to celebrate, but this is year why celebration is needed. Dr. Shanal at the beginning of the webinar contest spoke about our greed. Dr. Pritha Bhattacharya, she also spoke about our greed, etc. We didn't show the respect to our mother earth, and that is why we are facing all such troubles. So yeah, it is a ray of hope that the students, that is the younger generation, they are now concerned about art. They have made such a nice presentation, and the care they have taken in their works is really appreciable in this pandemic situation. I hope that they will keep their progress, and they should be much more attentive to keep our nature clean, to protect our mother earth. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your comment. Now the result with me. Before announcing the result, I would like to say a few words. I express my sincere gratitude to our judges, Dr. Pritha Bhattacharya and Dr. Shobbashachi Mahapatro, who have evaluated and analyzed each candidate and give their valuable decision. I am sure that choosing the winners from the presenters was a difficult choice. Lastly, I would like to say for the students might not secure the first three positions, but there are no doubts that your presentations are also worth remembering. Now it's time to announce the result of the Students Webinar Contest 2021, organized jointly by Nature Club and IQAC of St. Paul's CM College. I request everybody to please put your hands together for the winners. Am I audible clearly?
Yes, yes, yes. You are audible.
Yes. First position is jointly secured by Mr. Shagnik Chatterjee and Ms. Shohini Mukhopadhyay. First position is secured by Shagnik Chatterjee and Shohini Mukhopadhyay. Please put your hands together for their achievement. Second position is secured by Rahul Vishwas. Please encourage him. And third position is occupied by Srijita Mishra. Third position. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for being with us. And dear winners, we will be in touch with you and we will contact you for the rest once the pandemic situation will be over and our college resumes working. Thank you. Over to Professor Mukhopadhyay. Or to
Thank you, sir.
Professor
It's Abhishek, sir. I indeed happy to be present here at the valedictory session of this very important webinar on restoring our art. I compliment the Nature Club of St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College and its coordinator, Dr. Kullan Kumar Mondal, and also the whole organizing committee to make a webinar on such a contemporary and a highly relevant issue. In the recent years or so, we have come face to face with unusual climatic occurrences like weather changes, diseases, and environmental disasters. These are corollary of the global pursuit of rapid growth of industrialization, and very often the mindless and predatory exploitations of natural resources to sustain such patterns of development and industrialization. These have been happened across the world without distinguishings between rich and the poor nations. In general, in the increasingly integrated world that we live in, we have to devise cooperative solutions to deal with the pressing emerging global challenges and concerns. Environment and climate change certainly belong to this class of issues. In this context, the development of new environmental friendly technologies is going to play a very important role. So on behalf of this Nature Club, St. Paul's Cathedral Mission College, I want to extend a very hearty vote of thanks to all the participants who blessed us with their presentation. I would like to extend a special thanks to our respected guests of this event, Dr. Pritha Bhattacharya and Dr. Ashok Kanti Shandal, for inspiring all of us with their words. I am immensely thankful to our respected teacher in charge, Professor Devashish Mondal, for joining us today. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for our bursar, Professor Shubhendu Kanjilal, for his encouragement and support. Thank you, sir. We have been fortunate to be assisted by our IQAC coordinator, Dr. Shobhashachi Mahapatro. Thank you, sir, for being with us. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to Antariksh Venkatraman and his team of students of our college for their perfect technical support they had extended for this webinar. So in this way, I might want to wind up with a solicitation that we should think about our condition. We should make an effort not to destroy it by decreasing the utilizations of plastic, planting more trees, not squandering papers, supporting turn-off events, and so forth. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you very much. We have just completed our webinar. Stay safe.